Here at Apparatus, we get asked a lot about best practices when it comes to syncing a HubSpot Marketing Hub and a Salesforce Sales Cloud CRM. In this short video, we'll talk through some high-level considerations and an overview of the sync options that you have and some considerations there as well. Starting with some best practice thoughts. The first one is the sync decision. Let's kind of hold that for a second because we'll get into that in a little bit more detail in just a minute. But underneath that, for the dedicated sync user, we always recommend that an organization have a dedicated sync user with its own permissions, access to certain objects, custom objects, and fields on that object with field permissions. That leads into the property sync decisions below. Ideally, you don't need everything in your Salesforce environment in your HubSpot instance. So doing your due diligence up front to make decisions around what fields are required to market appropriately, what custom data is required, etc., should all drive the architecture between your HubSpot and your Salesforce sync. And then even at the property level, what system can update what, right? Do you want to overwrite? Those are all considerations that must be determined before syncing your systems. The CRM settings is basically where you'll go and determine, do you want to create leads or contacts in Salesforce? So make sure you work through that and think about the implications again within your CRM. And then the automated order of operations is really getting into if routing is based off of a normalized value for state, for example, HubSpot needs to operate in a way that your leads must follow in a rule order. And you want to set up your lead flow with that in mind. The last thing we want is for records to get assigned incorrectly into sales because HubSpot automation did not do its due diligence on normalizing important information. Now, sync options, I'm not going to read all this one by one, but really at the high level, you've got your one-to-one sync, which is all of your records, a selective sync, which is basically think of it as a partition in Salesforce where you're defining what the HubSpot system can see. And then the inclusion list is really those contacts in HubSpot that meet a segment criteria can sync to Salesforce. All of these have pros and cons, which are, on the screen right now. And really it comes down to your business requirements. So I strongly recommend working through what information needs to be in HubSpot. How are you using the HubSpot instance? You can see in the selective sync area as a con, we have that it requires significant testing. However, as a pro, it's great for sensitive data. So it's hard to say right off the bat, should you go one way or the other? We would always recommend that you sit down, map out your business requirements, and then decide as far as the sync options. Thank you.